Donald Trump is trapped. This is the reality nobody wants to admit. He's stuck in the Strait of Hormuz with no way out, no clean exit, no path forward that doesn't require him to do the one thing his ego won't allow. Admit he lost. A war he should never have started. A war that was unlawful and catastrophic from the beginning. And now in the last 72 hours, everything has accelerated into a corner he can't escape. Here's what we're going to figure out together. First, how did Trump's military strike backfire so completely that Iran is now openly taunting the United States on radar? Second, why is the F-35, America's most expensive fighter jet, suddenly detectable by Iranian systems when it's supposed to be invisible? And third, what happens when a president loses a war and refuses to admit it? We'll get to all three, but to make sense of any of it, you need to understand one specific thing about how this whole situation unraveled in the past week. And it's not what mainstream media is telling you. Let's start here. Pakistan's president was in China with Xi Jinping. Not a casual visit, a strategic realignment. They were discussing a new security architecture for the Middle East without the United States. Think about that. The same Pakistan that was mediating peace negotiations between Iran and the US is now sitting in Beijing talking about world order without America. Then, 3 days later, Putin visits China. Then Iran's foreign minister visits China. Then Pakistan's field marshal meets with Xi again. This isn't coincidence. This is the foundation of what comes next. Meanwhile, back in Washington, Trump was being told by every neocon in his cabinet that peace with Iran was unacceptable. Netanyahu called. The war hawks called. They said, you can't do this. Invade, strike, do something. And Trump, desperate to look strong, did exactly what they told him to do. He ordered strikes in the Strait of Hormuz, a few boats, a missile site, tactical strikes designed to look powerful. Instead, they looked desperate. Here's where it gets interesting. Iran's response wasn't military escalation. It was psychological dominance. They released video footage showing their radar systems locked onto American F-35s. Not theoretical, not simulated. Actual radar locks on actual American stealth fighters. The F-35 is supposed to be undetectable. It's the most expensive fighter program in history. Allies like Canada are spending billions on these jets because the US promised they're invisible, undetectable. Perfect. And Iran just showed the world that's a lie. Then they released footage of downing an MQ-9 Reaper drone, an unmanned aircraft. No American pilots died, which is the only reason Iran could release this video without triggering a full-scale war. But the message was crystal clear. We can see your aircraft. We can shoot them down. Your technology isn't superior. Your military advantage is gone. Trump's response, social media posts, recycled posts from 8 days earlier, the same post about Iran surrendering their navy at the bottom of the sea, their entire military walking out with white flags, word for word. Same post, May 18th and May 26th. Identical. He's not even trying to hide that he's lost control of the narrative. He's just copying and pasting old talking points because he has nothing new to say. Meanwhile, Iran issued an ultimatum back to Pakistan. They said, see? We told you. We can't trust these people. They violated the ceasefire. They struck us without provocation. And Pakistan, which was brokering the deal, went back to Trump's team and essentially said, your move. Or, the ball was in Trump's court. It still is. Now here's what nobody's talking about because CENTCOM is suppressing it and corporate media won't touch it. The F-35 vulnerability is catastrophic for American military strategy globally. If Iran can detect it, everyone can. If Iran can lock onto it, everyone can. Every adversary watching this footage is running the same calculation. The American stealth advantage is neutralized. The entire doctrine of air superiority through invisibility is exposed as a marketing myth. Canada's reviewing their F-35 purchase right now. They're looking at the Swedish Gripen. Why? Because the US just proved that the most expensive promise in military history is hollow. Countries are going to walk away from these jets. The military-industrial complex is panicking, and Trump doesn't even understand what just happened. Let's talk about what Trump actually did at Walter Reed yesterday. He said his health is perfect. Everything checked out, no negative conditions. Then why the advanced imaging? Why the MRIs? Why the constant dental visit cover story? Dr. Ronnie Jackson, a cardiologist from George Washington Medical Center, went on record saying Trump has severe daytime somnolence. He falls asleep in meetings. He fell asleep at Arlington on Memorial Day. He's falling asleep in the Oval Office. That's not normal. That's not healthy. That's a medical crisis. But Trump's not at Camp David today. Bad weather, he says. Camp David is closed due to weather, after a hospital visit, after advanced imaging, after a doctor says he's falling asleep constantly. And the response from state media is, everything's perfect. His health is great. It's the same playbook Netanyahu uses. Just say dental. People are stupid. They'll believe it. Except people aren't stupid. People see what's happening. Here's the thing that matters. While Trump is losing a war he started, while he's having secret medical procedures, while he's posting QAnon memes from the hospital, Americans are suffering. Gas is up 28% from last year. Flights up 20%. Beef up 16%. Tomatoes up 40%. Coffee up 18%. Everything costs more. Your electric bill is higher, not lower. Trump promised to slash energy costs in half. Instead, they're up 25 to 30%. Your grocery bill is crushing you. And Trump's response is to post about golden ballrooms and Corinthian pillars and UFC stadiums at the White House. He's literally rebuilding the White House into a grotesque monument to himself while the country burns. He wants to tear down the pillars and replace them with Corinthian columns. He's building a UFC stadium outside the White House. He's constructing a full hospital bunker under the East Wing. This isn't a president. This is a man preparing a fortress, a bunker, a place to hide. Meanwhile, what's happening internationally? Marco Rubio flew to India to repair relations. He landed on the tarmac and nobody greeted him. Not a single dignitary. One military officer. One... He looked around, confused. That's the message. America first means America alone. The U.S. is isolated. Allies are walking away. Pakistan is in Beijing. India just hosted a BRICS meeting where Iran's foreign minister was treated like a hero. And Rubio shows up to an empty tarmac. Russia issued a warning yesterday. Evacuate Kiev immediately. We're escalating. We're throwing everything at the city. Why? Because Ukraine's winning on the front lines. Ukraine's advancing. Ukraine's striking inside Moscow. Russia's panicking. And what's America doing? Losing a war in the Middle East, isolated internationally, divided domestically. Here's what Iran's position actually is. They want long-term security guarantees. They want control over the Strait of Hormuz, which they already have geographically. They want to keep their ballistic missiles. They want their nuclear material for civilian purposes, not weapons. They want Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Iraqi militia groups to be off limits. They want a weaker version of the Obama JCPOA deal. That's it. That's the ask. And Trump's response? He's added a new condition. He says peace with Iran only happens if every Arab nation enters into the Abraham Accords with Israel. He's conditioning peace on something that has 1% approval in Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Qatar have all said they won't do it until there's a two-state solution with Palestine, until the genocide in Gaza stops, until Israel stops demolishing Beirut. They're not doing it. 0% chance. -%. And Trump just used that impossible condition to blow up the deal. This is what losing looks like. This is what a president looks like when he's trapped with no exit strategy. He makes impossible demands. He posts recycled messages. He has secret medical procedures. He builds golden ballrooms. He falls asleep in meetings. He loses allies. He isolates the country. And he does all of it while Americans pay 40% more for tomatoes. Mayor Zoran Mandani is in New York City right now announcing a housing plan. $22 billion for affordable housing. 200,000 new affordable homes. $5 billion into public housing. Actual solutions. Actual policy. Actual leadership focused on people, not on golden pillars and UFC stadiums. That's what government is supposed to be. That's what leadership looks like. But Trump is trapped. He lost the war. He won't admit it. He's falling asleep. He's having medical procedures. He's posting QAnon memes. He's turning the White House into a monument to himself. And every day he stays in this position, America gets weaker, allies get further away, and ordinary people get crushed by inflation that he created. The only way out is to make a deal with Iran that's weaker than Obama's deal, to admit that the U.S. lost, to open the Strait of Hormuz, to give Iran sanctions relief, to defer the nuclear question to later. That's the only path, and Trump's ego won't allow it. So he'll stay trapped, posting recycled messages, falling asleep, building bunkers, watching America's position crumble globally, and the American people will keep paying the price at the pump, at the grocery store, and everywhere else.